Hi everyone, welcome to Watercolor Wednesday. I am Bonnie Krebs, creator of Watercolor the Art Impressions Way, and I am going to continue working my way through the brand new release. So these are stamp sets that have been released in January of 2019. I'm going to start with the little garden shed set. I love this set. These little structures they're pretty big, and I'm going to show you how to put these together. Super, super fun. So also, we're going to use foliages from the new Foliage set. So these little vines, a right and a left. So these are very small. They're similar to the vine that's in the basic Foliage set, but way, way smaller. So I think you're going to love those. We're going to use those two vines and these two grasses, these really fine grasses that can stamp over the top of lines. So I'll show you how to use those. So those two, and then back to our original set, the little grass right here, and in the flower set, the little filler flower. Okay, so let's get going. I think you're going to love these projects. Okay, so we're going to start out with this little shed. We're going to color this in two colors. So I'm going to start out with the sepia, and I'm just going to ink all of this up in the sepia. So sepia is actually a Tombow. This is a Tombow marker, so it's actually not called sepia. It's number 969. It's a very dark, deep brown, and I think it works great. So over the top of that now, number 565. And we're going to ink this whole thing again right over the top. And I'm going to stamp it off because I don't want the lines too dark and too heavy. So I'm just going to stamp it off on another sheet of paper and then stamp it right into the center of my watercolor paper. And that looks pretty good right there. So we are going to start out with our first step, and that is to, of course, pull the color out of the lines. So I'm dipping my brush in water, and I'm just going to start dragging this color out. Make sure your brush isn't too wet. If you notice the lines starting to disappear, you've got too much water. So just go back and take a little of that off. And you know, this is just the beginning process, so we can come back and do a little more with this set a little bit later on. So we're just starting out with the basic. Okay, so you can see that it's starting to look a little more three-dimensional now, and that's what we want. You can see the mix of color kind of coming out. I think this is the funnest step because this is where you see things change the most, and you're going from that flat stamped image, just a line drawing, to a three-dimensional image. I just think it's magic. Never get tired of seeing that. And you can see these, so do you see these lines in the little structure here? They're just half lines. So the reason I did that is because I don't want them too harsh and too dark. So just kind of drag that color all the way down and up. Okay, like so. So let's go on to the next step. And this is another fun step. So we're adding the foliage and the flowers in. So I'm using these little vines that just work perfect for these little structures, and just stamp this in. They're just perfect for this size. And we can put them in here. And let's switch direction here, and we'll put some of these out like this. Okay, so that looks good. And let's go ahead and add water to this now. Remember, these lines are tiny, so really try to control your water. If there's a learning curve at all, it's the water, application of the water. Make sure that you are not getting too much water on here. You should not be erasing any lines. You should just be softening what you've just stamped. So we don't want to lose the integrity of the stamp. We just want to soften the lines and make it look like a watercolor. Okay, so we've got this in. Let's go ahead and add some color now to that. So I'm going to use this little filler flower from the original flower set, and I'm only going to ink a couple of these because, you know, this is a small area and we don't need to have a large bloom. I just really like this orange too. This is so cute. And I don't know about you, but I'm kind of ready for spring, so this is just perfect. Okay, so we're adding water just like we've done before. And you know, we're using these stamps all work the same way, so it's kind of like, you know, just practicing your skill. Even though there's new images added, it's still all the same technique. So it's not scary. Okay, so let's add some color now in the background. And I'm going to use this kind of a vintage blue. It's number 528. It's a really, really warm blue. I just love this color so much. And it kind of adds a little whimsical look to things, which I love. So I'm just brushing it in. You want to try to keep it away from the orange, from the flower color, but you can blend this into the green. Easily do that. Remember, don't let your sky get out of control and go past your image. Okay, so I'm going to take a little of this color now, just because I love it so much, and I'm going to add some to this little shed. Just a little bit, and we kind of want it to look kind of old and rustic, so, you know, like the paint might be peeling a little bit, and, you know, it's been sitting out in the field. And I'm adding some darker color now. So this is the darker blue again. So this is the number 565. And I'm just adding a little of this color now to it because this side of the little shed is in the distance. So this is kind of going back here. So we just want to make this a little bit darker. And then under here, this under here is going to be dark. And this little section in here. So anywhere you kind of, you know, want to put a shadow, this is a great color to do that with. This is that dark blue. I'm also going to take some of this color now and just put it into this window. And just really, really dark under here. So let's add some color now to the roof. And we're going to do that with this brown color. And just brush it on. We do this afterwards so that there isn't so much color to stamp over. And let's just add some of this color to the door. Remember always to apply color in each section individually. So even if it's small, you know, this door has lots of different sections. You never want to drag your brush over any of these lines, any of these horizontal lines or vertical lines. And let's really darken this little door handle. Okay, we are getting finished now with this. See how easy that was? Just so fun. And you know, part of it, like I said, is because you're using the same stamps, you're using the same technique, and honestly, the more that you do this, the better at it you're going to get. Practice, practice. Okay, that looks good. I'm just going to take a little green now from my palette and just brush in a little green along here. And ink up my grass. So this is my little grass from, and actually let's change out the color a little bit here. Let's pick a different green. So this is number 177. And let's just do a little different color here. So I'm going to just kind of stamp this along the edge. Just like so. And then just pull the color out of the lines, just like this. And let's just put a little path in here. So here's how those little grasses work. These little fine grasses, they will stamp over the top of these lines. So let's just take a little darker color here. And I'll show you what I mean. It's just really fun to add these little details, and you can see that it doesn't, you're not fighting with the lines on the structure because you've got this little detail in here. And these lines are really, really fine. I love this grass. And we are finished with this project. See how easy that was? Be sure to sign and date. And put that on a card or put it in a frame, give it away to someone, make their day. And thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it so much. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, and I will see you all next week.